Journey with me through the emotional experience of love, devotion, and ultimate heartbreak in raising my son with significant disabilities. This is a collection of memoirs that capture a life well lived. I hope it inspires, I hope it teaches, and I hope it entertains. Thank you for joining me. So this is a story around his wheelchair. It's another topic that I know causes a lot of emotion and a lot of need for support and discussion. Getting a wheelchair, moving from a stroller to a wheelchair, it's a big deal. It's a big decision. It's the outward admission of acceptance, and it's a big one. By the time that Danny was around 9 months old, he wasn't sitting up, and I knew it was time. At this point, he was in a stroller that I somehow managed to adapt an insert with a harness so that he could sit in the stroller. But it often caused people to look at him in a questioning sort of way. So they would sort of see a baby in a stroller, but they would realize that the seat he was in was providing much more support than would be typical. So at around 9 months, we went in and we got our first wheelchair. It was itty bitty, as you can imagine, little tiny insert, but man, it made a world of difference. Immediately, when people looked at him, it was almost as if their thought process said, oh, okay. And his need for support was obvious. It was understood. And so, although that was a benefit and people sort of looked at him as, oh, okay, not so much as what's wrong with him, but, oh, okay, I see something is not quite right. And so, with that benefit of acceptance also comes everything that comes with a child having a physical disability. And so, to this day, it continues to make people uncomfortable. And so my striving to make people comfortable was in the hopes that my son would also feel comfortable. I would make people feel comfortable, and they would make my son feel comfortable. And for the most part, I can say that is how it went. So he had a little insert with a 4-point strap. I think in the beginning it may have started off with 2 straps that held him in tightly. The biggest challenge was transportation. No longer could you fold a stroller and put it into the back. A wheelchair had to come apart, so you had to not only take the time in the cold and inclement weather to take apart and put together the wheelchair, but you also needed a trunk and a space in your car with which to hold it once it was folded. So there were pros and cons to a wheelchair. I hope it opens a topic of discussion. I think it's important, and I'd be happy to talk about it. Thanks.